The smartest guys around are about to break it down like they've won the game a million times.
Well, actually, they didn't really win the game at all.
Survivor know it all. Survivor know it all. Stephen and Rob without it down. Got the game all figured out. They know it all.
Yeah, that's right. The Survivor Know-It-Alls are back together once again. Happy Wednesday, Stephen.
Well, it was another action-packed episode of Survivor 49.
Listen, I'm just happy people are here. They want to know what we had to say about all of this. And listen, they said that stick with it. It's going to get good.
Yeah. You must have been excited today, though. All of that talk about mukbang, based on what you were saying last week about all you want is savages eating donuts. You know, there's a whole genre for you.
Well, I think that should speak to the producers about some of these rewards that they could give them to, get the younger viewers interested in an old school mukbang for a reward.
Yeah, right. Savages eating donuts. You should propose that to Andrew Savage when you see him.
Maybe. See if we can maybe get some merch going. I think that's a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
Of course, we're here with the author of the hit pre-selling book Escape, Stephen Fishbach.
Woo! Wow, it's a pleasure to be here. Very fun to. I watched this season to talk about it with you. That's why it's that's why I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. So Jason ultimately goes home. I will talk with him tomorrow. Do you think that if Jason had the opportunity, if you could go back and ask him, like, knowing what you know now, I guess, would you rather have gone into this season, or would you rather have stayed an alternate for a chance that you might have been cast on another season? What do you think?
Right. I think like, what's the chance? I mean, like, also though,
seems like 50-50.
Things were going really well for Jason, right? Like, he was on the dominant tribe. He was killing it at the puzzles. And then, like, he just got really unlucky in a twist of fate.
Can I? Oh, God.
No, you.
I was gonna say, can I say something that might be controversial? Listen, I'm all for being a stickler for the rules. Like, I'm a rule follower, okay? But I bet those chatty people that they kicked out of Ponderosa, I bet they would have been good TV. I feel like we missed those guys.
Yeah.
Is that a crazy thought? Like, I bet those people would have been like, yeah, I'm sure that it was like not good integrity of the game. Sure. But listen, those people that were like pretty privileged, you imagine that they're people that are not used to hearing like, hey, no, don't do that. That they feel like the rules don't apply for them. Isn't that probably going to make those are going to be like two probably people that this season could have used?
Yeah. I mean, looking at although I will say, like, MC's a standout, MC's like one of the players of the season.
Nothing against MC. I'm just saying that those like rule breaking chatty Cathys, like those people, like it wouldn't hurt to have them.
You have to be pretty bad, I think, to get kicked out. I don't
we
think
need
it's like
villains.
like too talkative.
They don't even follow the rules before the game starts.
Yeah, that's I was just talking with somebody about what do you think when people say they want villains, Rob? What do you think they mean? I know you love this discourse.
People that talk when they're not supposed to. That's who I want. Yeah. I just feel like that tonight. I was watching the episode. I was like, I bet we could have used those two.
Yeah, it did feel like you want someone who's gonna like push a little bit because it's But I still feel like, Jason probably, I'm curious what he says in the exit interviews, probably is kind of like, as I said last week, like probably operating on the back foot all season long. Here's my frustration. You're talking about people breaking the rules. I thought you were going to the same place that I was. Why on earth did they not throw the challenge? Like, truly, what was Kelly doing winning that challenge? Absolutely bonkers. They just had Matt voted off last week. Jason is gonna be voted out. Like, that.
Yeah.
And like the numbers are dwindling for you. What are you
This is a great point. Let's get to everything. Let me just tell you about what else is coming up here on RHAP. I'll talk with Jason coming up on Thursday. And then we got a good one, Stephen. On Thursday, Star Toomey is going to join me.
Oh, that is exciting.
So excited to check in with Star. And then on the old school interview this week, we've got from Survivor Co. Wrong, Sydney.
Wow, that's awesome. Sydney's one who's like, why haven't we seen Sydney again? Like when you're looking at the people who are being brought back for 50, they had the whole franchise to choose. Why not Sydney?
Yeah, I think that's what she wants to know.
Yeah, that's what I want to know too.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got some great podcasts coming up. And of course, we have been chatting with the Survivor Glitterati all night long over on Chat BCC. Jump on in. You're not going to believe what everybody was saying. Go to robhasawebsite.com/VIP chat to join for free over on the People's Chat, Chat BCC, although it's really a VIP group chat for the Glitterati. But you can read it. And then weigh in on
they've
what
got
the
all these like sub feature. They've really expanded it now. There's a lot of other like chats to like be.
Okay. So you want to open on that the Hina tribe did not throw the challenge when they basically had the sitting duck Shannon sitting there. And you know what? I think we're
Kelly tribe.
I'm sorry. The Kelly tribe. I think we should break format really. For the first time in the Know-It-All's history, I don't even want to talk about the tribe that went to tribal council first. Let's talk about the tribe that didn't go to tribal council and their decision not to throw the challenge, because I really thought that this group, this Kelly tribe, to me, I think this is the most interesting thing going on in this season is what's going on here. I am loving Sage. Consider me now officially a Sage stan.
Yeah, I really enjoying Sage too.
It's giving Sage advice to all of us at home. And she has Shannon clocked.
Yeah, it was funny when Shannon gave the confessional about like, Sage and I just talk about all kinds of fun things like pooping, zits, all the fun things that two people talk about when they're stuck on an island together.
Yeah. And so we have in Shannon somebody who is a gifted player, but to the degree where it's that she's just a little too obvious. Like it's a little bit of like the Caleb thing from Survivor 45 where it's like, wow, this guy is good, but is everybody here is noticing the same thing? Okay, good. Like it's like you could be so good that it ends up being bad.
Yeah. That's and I don't totally agree that she's so good, because I think a lot of being good is being not obvious about your strategy, right?
Yeah.
Like that is like the best strategy is when you are subtle, you can get people over to your side, but when you see someone just like really hitting everybody over the head with it, that's not always the best choice for you, as it was not for Shannon. I will say that when you go from being in this majority position to suddenly feeling like you have to scramble for your place in the game, that scramble instinct kicks in and, doesn't always react so well with everybody.
Yeah. Stephen, who do you want to lay the blame to on this new Kella tribe? Who should have been the person who vocalizes, we need to throw the challenge to get rid of Shannon?
Well, it's not going to be Sophie. They only go to her when they have something to say about food. It's funny that she got her like third food-related confessional. I think all three of her most visible moments have been about food. The thing is, like, Jason we didn't really see him as being in anybody's tight alliance. And I do think that's probably part of it, right? Like he wasn't in that core group over at Hina. That being said, I kind of feel like Stephen is the Hina spokesperson, right? Like he's kind of our like strategic narrator. Is that correct for you?
I think that sounds pretty true. I wonder is there some sort of like competitive side of MC that MC doesn't want to throw a challenge?
Yeah.
Is that something? And MC has been very outspoken about the new era. Throwing challenges is not really part of the new era ethos. It's more of an old school idea. So it might not be something that is really top of mind for her.
Yeah. And she's a trainer. That's why, like, you're looking at these people Alex is blue. He doesn't care.
But I
he
feel
wants
like
to be
that
saved.
Alex has lost so much for Alex, and that might also be a bitter pill to swallow. Of throw it challenge. What are you talking about? Like,
But also,
all I've done is lose.
And the numbers are against him, like obviously we see that he's safe, but from his perspective, he's like, I need to keep this going. Obviously the two
Shannon doesn't want to do it. Sage might.
Yeah, I don't know. They probably don't want to like risk it because they know that it could be them. And so it is on one of the 4 Hinas. And I do kind of think it's like probably Stephen needs to be the one to kind of step out there. I don't get the sense that Christina is driving the strategy. We kind of saw the way that Stephen and MC approached her about Shannon, which I thought they did very elegantly. Like the way they kind of, what are you feeling? What are you thinking about Shannon? Have you ever noticed?
Really hard, right?
Yeah,
she's a big gamer, right?
Just kind of like slowly layering it in there, like really subtly. I thought that was really good.
She's like, because I think Christina came into that conversation and she's like, yeah, look, I love Shannon. He's like, yeah, but she's really playing the game hard, wouldn't you say? Like,
yeah, and it worked. And then
we don't like her now.
Yeah, exactly. And again, like we're not seeing that much from Sophie. MC again, fitness trainer. So I kind of like, I really like Stephen, and it's because I like him and I want him to excel.
A rotten fishy to all of them.
Okay, sure. Yeah. They really was a missed opportunity. And now the numbers are really not going to be with them at Emerge.
Well, okay, and then so to piggyback off of that, I was confounded of this seemed like the easiest slam dunk. And again, that I don't really get the sense on Survivor that they make the players like really like pontificate, oh, should I do this thing that I would never actually do? It seemed like that Nate and Savannah seemed to be legitimately considering, do we vote out Jawan in this spot? And there was this idea of, well, Jason is the link. He is the bridge from new Hina to old Hina. Because if we don't have Jason, how are we going to work with the Hina tribe? And it's like, you have 6 and they'll have 4. What do you need? What do you need Jason for?
And they've got Sophie, Sophie B. So, yeah.
So you basically, effectively, you could have 7, and it's like, even if you've, like, a worst case scenario, you've lost your people that are over there, and Shannon is a tight number for that group. Like, what are we even talking about? Do you think that they were Nate and Savannah legitimately considering we should keep Jason as a bridge to old Hina?
I feel like even if they're not being asked the question by the producers, it's just a natural thought process, especially with the shot in the dark out there. You're thinking, who else do I need? Who else could it be? And it's just like, you're thinking, like, when you're in such a dominant position as Savannah is, I think you kind of feel your oats a little bit. You get like, who should I strike from the sky? Who should I cast my light? It could be you, or it could be you. And you kind of get a little cute with it too. And I do think that might be happening here. Ultimately, they do certainly pick the right person. In general, I'm really against turning on your alliance before you have to, because I think it makes everybody nervous. Now, it did sort of work out, I guess, for in Survivor, whichever it was, 45, the one that D won, 45.
Yes, against 45.
Where they voted out J Maya,
and Sifu.
And they also voted out Sifu before they had to. So it worked out for them, obviously. But in general, we've seen it really backfire when people have voted out their alliance, because then there's the sort of like internal politicking kind of. I mean, maybe with these 6-person tribes, it's less relevant, especially in this particular circumstance.
Well,
but anyway,
can we explore the idea of voting out Jawan and what would be the points for why that would be a good move? And I understand Jawan, who I must have a death wish of that he took Savannah's bag and filled it with sticks and brush, which was not great. And then of all people, he took her water bottle.
I would vote someone out for drinking from my water bottle. And can I tell you, Rob, this happened to me. Not only was like water bottle. It was on Cambodia. Let me give you the context.
Okay, was it? I'm trying to think, like, who did? It wasn't Joe Anglem, was it?
It was Joe Anglem. And we got these cups at the merge, in the merge feast, and I don't want to share cups with your disgusting mouths. I don't know what's happening out there. So I painted a little fish on my cup to make it very clear that this was not a communal cup. This was my cup. And I just saw Joe Englund walking around sipping from the fish cup. Yeah. And I was mad. And I didn't vote him out. He voted me out, but I was mad.
Yeah, but you wanted to vote him out. Yeah. Okay. So for Jawan, of all the cups in all of Fiji to pick up Savannah's, that was the wrong move. And it really got under her skin.
Yeah. And I do think it is like representative. Obviously, like these are the little things you fixate on when there's already a little bit of a personality clash. And so I'm sure that's part of it as well. I can't imagine that this was the sole thing that, but they also argued that Jawan could be the one who was most likely to flip. We certainly haven't seen that,
Where's
and
he going?
He's had no opportunities to flip. He's just been with the group.
The two guys that he met on the journey are gone. Like there's no avenue for Jawan. And yeah, he may try to flip, but it would be such a great like sacrificial lamb if you wanted to do that next week. We've seen that before where the tribes will go to the merge and then, give up one of their own.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where Sifu and J Maya ended up going out with the Reba 4 was they didn't take them out pre-merge. That was a name that got thrown out as like, here, okay, we'll give up one of our own. Don't worry about our numbers.
Wasn't Sifu pre-merge?
No, he was not. He was voted out in the split tribal council.
Oh, I was thinking of them as separate tribes. Yes, it was a split tribal council. I was thinking of the small group. Okay, yeah.
Yes, so there was an unmerged tribe that Sifu got voted out of. So you could throw Jawan to the wolves next week as sort of like, hey, we're not so bad.
Yeah.
But, Jawan seems like he's trying to prove his loyalty. I mean, we saw him this week where he fixed the rock draw to make sure that Jason didn't go get an advantage.
Yes, and he was the one who I think led Jason to not playing his shot in the dark, right? Like he's the one who Jason is talking about with the Rizzo plan. Jason votes for Rizzo.
Yes.
So my guess, it looked like Jason was most on board with the Jawan gaslighting more than, well, not gaslighting, but like misdirection.
Yeah.
More than the Savannah misdirection.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, preview something here. I'm going to make a case that Jawan gets the fishy this week.
I think it might be a good call. I think that there's a few other people that might be able to make a case, but I think that Jawan did a really good job this week. And for Jason to be confident that Rizzo was going home, I mean, maybe there was more to it that we just did not see, but it seemed like that maybe he was fed a crumb that Rizzo, like that we got no evidence whatsoever that it was going to be Rizgod, who we know has an idol, being the person to go home.
We did see Nate saying like, just shut up to him in the challenge. So maybe like that was, and I was curious, like why include that? And maybe it was just because
how
like,
could
that
Jason
was
have been so confident?
Yeah. To not play his shot in the dark. And if you think this group is all voting for Rizzo, why just play your shot in the dark? Like it really feels like for him to not play a shot in the dark, he must have been really misled. I'm curious to hear what he has. I'm sure he will have much to say about why he didn't play a shot in the dark. But
yeah, did he think everybody was in on this? Was it gonna be a complete Rizzo blindside?
Maybe he thought it was like a split vote, like he and Jawan. And how many? There were 5. You don't need that many. Yeah,
did he think that they had 4 votes for Rizzo?
Yeah, maybe he thought the other group was splitting. Who knows? I'm really curious to hear what he thought the plan was. But
yeah. And ultimately, Jason was the puzzle guy. But other than that, we really did not see too much else from Jason this season.
Yeah. And, it did seem like he did not hit this swap running. Although, again, like that seemed to have helped him last week where he was played a little slower. And it was just like a really close call. And again, he should still be in the game because Kelly should have thrown the challenge.
Is it worth revisiting? Did he mishandle last week when they went to him and he said, yeah, I'm waiting to get back together with my old Hina tribe?
But I think, like, what's he doing here? He's got, like, they all love Sophie, and then they've got 4 original Uli, and that's it. Like, he's not, there's no, well, you can't, like, maybe you can make believe something that he could have done, but
yeah, no, I don't think it's make believe. I think it's that you forget like what you have waiting for you out there.
Yeah.
Like you can't, you have to pretend that doesn't exist. And I think it was really Tyson who, I'm sure as many other survivors like articulated this, where, you know, you end up with a swap and it's like, you forget your old alliance is over. You need to figure out what the numbers are. And I'm talking about from post swap in Blood versus Water of I got to figure out what my group is. And in fairness to Shannon, who I said gave me the ick last week, at least she's tried to build something over there on the new swap tribe where it seemed like that Jason seemed like pretty content to sit on his hands for the most part.
yeah, I mean, Tyson did say that after, you know, Blood versus Water, but I do wonder if just like with the new era time frame, it's less the case. Like you can't really form new, like how long are they together? Like 3 days? You know, like you can't really form these like deep new bonds there. And I do think,
but
like,
did they have deep old bonds?
Well, right. I mean, that's right. That's the counter argument. But I think like there's very little, you know, just looking at this setup, there's very little Jason can do where it's like for Uli, Sophie, you know, like of course there you can always like tell yourself after the fact, like if only I had really like embraced them and like because I was Uli strong too, but it was not going to work in like the day and a half that he had to convince them.
I mean, but there's at least a version of, oh, I was on the bottom there. I hated the chant. They made me do it. Like it was so annoying. It was so cringe.
Yeah.
I hated everything about them. Don't say that. Like I love all those people. I can't wait to get back to them.
Yeah. And
I'm the bridge to them.
Yeah. Like as though, yeah. I mean, that's the silly thing. It's like you don't really need a bridge. You know, you're going to meet them.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, can you introduce us? It's not like a LinkedIn thing.
I'll vouch for you guys. You guys have more numbers. I'm going to vouch for you and I'll tell them not to vote you off. And then we'll vote off checks notes. Who's left? Alex?
Yeah, exactly.
So, but like,
the bridge thing works when everybody's down in the numbers. Like then you can bring people in. Let's so not a lot of room here for poor Jason to maneuver.
Unfortunately, no, there was not.
Yeah.
I want to go back and revisit Sage and Savannah because this to me was so fun. And it was just like a really well-told story of that we saw Shannon going to work on each person. And where last week we really just saw the spiritual side of Shannon, where we've seen her sort of like cultivate her approach differently. Sage articulated, okay, with Alex, she's Parvati. With Christina, she's the spiritual guru. She's probably like talking about the physicality with MC. So she's a different person to everybody, and Sage is sick of it.
Yep. So many great shots. So many great reaction shots of her just sitting there, rolling her eyes, like looking on in disbelief. Should she have like done? I mean, obviously it worked out. Like by doing less, it ends up doing more for her. Should she have done a little bit more? I mean, it worked out for her.
I mean, it really did work out well for her, especially that moment where Shannon goes off for a walk. I'm not sure if that's an interview, that ill-timed interview for Shannon that she had to go do while everybody else is sitting there. For her to be able to then give it was almost like a final tribal council moment of, by the way, at the Uli tribe, Rizzo has Shannon didn't tell you that? Oh, that's because she's really still with them. And I'm not. I'm with you guys. And so it is interesting just to sort of like do a quick numbers check. So you have the 4 Hina, the old Hina. Then if you have Sage, who's flipped, and Alex, that's 6. And then when we go back to the other side of things, you have still like the 4 Uli that are over there. And then if Shannon comes back to them, that's 5. And Sophie B, is it 6-6?
Yes, if Alex stays with the new Kele tribe. I wonder though. Alex is probably more loyal to Sophie.
Is there somebody else that I'm missing? No, I think we got it.
That's right. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
I just don't know if we haven't seen that like deep bond, and I think Alex was a little bummed to learn that Shannon was not in. You know, you get Shannon kissing his hand, and then Stephen's like, Shannon's kissing everybody's hand, right? And Alex says, "Oh yeah, of course, I knew that. Obviously, yeah. It didn't mean anything."
Yeah. No, that's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
And so for these two groups, I think that we're set up for like, hey, we joked at the start of the night. Okay, not that exciting, but maybe we could be heading to something exciting. Now, I do want to talk about the preview. We don't usually talk a lot about the preview. It did not look like that we are headed into merge or mergatory. That I heard Jeff say something about new tribes.
He said new tribes. For some reason, I thought merge. New tribe?
I thought he said new tribes. I mean, listen, I'm sure we will be fact-checked and corrected up the yin-yang. But I don't know if we're getting the merge in this next episode.
Really? You think they're going to do one more? I hope that's the case. Rather than do the mergatory.
Because it seemed like I didn't like freeze frame the next time on, but it looked like they still had buffs on. And they don't have buffs on when it's mergatory.
But Rizzo said something like, I need to impress all these people with the like my spear fishing or whatever. And then like, presumably that's going to be the new whole group.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you think they could swap again and then go into a proper merge and not have mergatory?
I guess so. It seems, I guess, like, why not? No, let's say yes. Like, that would be better. That'd be better.
I mean, just if, again, and maybe people are like, just like cursing right now that we're wrong.
Yeah.
But
that's why I'm hesitant to go to a team on this. I'm sure we're wrong.
We got listen. Let us live. Let us live. Okay. So if we hypothetically, what if we didn't have mergatory? What if it wasn't mergatory, Stephen?
And just like a merge, or just like two tribes?
So what if? Okay, much like in your second chances season, could we maybe do another? Like drop your buffs again, another tribe swap. Okay, and now we have one more vote, and then we have a proper merge at 11.
Wow, wouldn't that be fun? Something new.
Rather than because what they have done in the past is that they would do a mergatory and then do a split tribal council after this. So instead of like making them go into two random tribes 2 episodes from now, just do it now and then get to the merge. Doesn't that make more sense?
I mean, nobody likes that split thing. You're like merge for a vote, then you're split again. At least I don't like it.
It was novel. It was exciting the first few times that it happened, and there's been some interesting moments that have come from it. But I just think it makes so much more. You want to have another vote where we had the medical evacuation, so we don't need to do a double elimination. Just if they have new tribes this week, potentially, then you could just start the merge at 11 and then just play out the merge.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't that be, that's actually great. Hey, listen, I'm in on your idea.
Yeah. So let's see. Let's see what happens. And we'll get more previews. People will like freeze frame everything and we'll see what ends up happening. Although I will be disappointed if this Kella tribe doesn't get to go to a tribal council. I wanted to see it.
I know they really set up this Sage, although now it's so overdetermined that I kind of don't need to see it. Like now, if they went, it's so clear that Shannon would be going home. And that's kind of why I don't think they will, because like, why would you make it so obvious who's going to lose if it's actually going to play out next week?
Yeah. If the big move like comes together too soon, it ends up not being that interesting when it actually happens. Like in Survivor 42, and we did the live show this week, the episode that High gets voted out, it's like High was looking like a big power player, had a lot of control in the game. And then by like 10 minutes into the episode, everybody's locked in. Okay, we're going to do High tonight. And then there was just not a lot of drama the rest of the episode because like the big move had already got locked in early.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I'm skeptical that we will see the new Kaylee tribe go to tribal. And the new Hina tribe, also, it's like very clear who would get voted out. It would be Juwan. So it's like too obvious. And so something has to change.
Yeah. I would love to talk a little bit about our journey that we had here tonight.
Yeah. Interesting journey
That there was, of course, the wrinkle where it was basically the return of the sweat task where Nate and MC, it was the MC meets the MCU. And we had these two people going back and forth and having like a nice chat. And then all of a sudden, there's a twist. There's a note. And it says, there is an advantage hidden in the jungle. And if somebody goes and gets it, the other person has to finish it. I thought that Nate played this so well.
Yeah, really beautifully. I do have one question about Nate, but like the way that Nate first of all, turned it into a team thing. Like, let's just all do this together so that I don't have to do it myself. Once you find the advantage, doesn't have a lot of faith in his own advantage finding abilities. You know, I guess like he believes that MC would outpace him, but it doesn't make her necessarily more observant. Like, advantages are kind of like a crapshoot, you know? It's not like who's the fastest or strongest who's gonna get the advantage.
I mean, I think that Nate was banking on just like running out of time. So, okay, let's use up all the time. And I think that there ended up just being way more sand in the hourglass than he anticipated. And so they ended up getting the bag like 3/4 of the way, the last one there, and then said, hey, go look. And then he says to her, oh, we're running out of time. And then she comes back and it's like, oh, there's still like
half of the hourglass still filled here.
Let's just put it over the finish line. Because, you know, you have the person who ends up, and Nate is in such a great position. He's so far out in front. Everything is in his favor. They have the numbers. He doesn't want there to be any sort of unknown variables going into the merge. Would hate to see somebody from Hina end up getting this advantage. So it really behooves him to end up going in and just being like, no harm, no foul. Nobody loses their votes. Do you think that MC made a mistake by ending up not going all out to get an advantage?
I just think that it looks so bad, right? Like that she knows the merge is imminent. You don't want to be annoying people or pissing them off or scaring them. So for her to like run over there and be like, no, forget this, I'm getting that advantage. It looks super sketchy with someone who has been making a real point to build trust and a bond with you, especially with MC looking at these numbers and seeing that Hina is dwindling. You know, I think you've got to think, what are my next steps? Like, what are the bonds I can possibly make here? So I think this is the right choice.
Yeah, I agree. I think that MC ends up making an ally, earning some trust with Nate, having a little bit of goodwill from somebody from the other side of things. And so I think that ends up being a better thing. What would the advantage have been? An extra, like he would lose his vote, so she would piss him off. What would it have been? An idol, an extra vote?
Yeah, maybe like steal a thing, you know, like, you know, it's just never worth the social cost. You know, only because most advantages are so situationally specific.
Nate goes back to his tribe. You're not gonna believe what happened. Right. MC screwed me.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Sort of, it's like that's like that. Like it's like then it's like public. It's like not going to be a private thing. I mean, so then she's suddenly a huge target. The one thing I thought Nick did such a great job also with the way he kind of worked in like, give me some, you know, facts about you. I thought that was really elegant. When he goes back to his tribe and they say, so there was no pro, he doesn't even mention the advantage. And I thought that was like questionable because, you know, he's got a really interesting story of like, I knew MC was going to get the advantage. I thought like, let's not have it. But the idea that there would be no advantage at all is kind of not credible. Like that it's just a struggle, you know, just a sweat task. So
I understand why he did it. I think he's like, okay, well, I don't want to make it seem like, okay, well, did you make a deal with her? Did you work with her? And I think he should have told also. I think that
people's imagination is always going to be worse than the reality.
Yeah, because I think that all of us know, but there's never, it's almost like the neutral box thing. Like there was no upside. There was no way to get a thing. Like, this time they just decided not to do it. It's weird, but I don't know.
Yeah, and as soon as someone says that, you're like, oh, he's got something. You know, there's no question. Like he's hiding something. Like you've got to be as forthright as you possibly can. And of course, you know, I mean, we saw Nick Cesternino struggle with this in season 1 of Australian Survivor. Like, how do you be forthright when like everyone's going to inherently disbelieve you? But I do think that's the challenge.
Stephen, it came up again tonight about the conditions and just how everybody's brain is mush. And the show, I do feel like, is in a predicament where that it seems like that the conditions are worse than they have ever been during the Fiji era. But there is no way to actually, like, it's almost impossible for them to show us. They have to tell us. And you know, as a writer, you know, so I guess it would be hard to show and not tell in your book.
My book is filled with pictures, just a lot of pictures. Actually, like, you're just like, look at these people suffering, and there's a caption under it that says, "Look at these people suffering." That's how you know. No, but it's hard, and I do think that it just doesn't translate. And I also think, I mean, we've been on this for a long time. Like, I want to see people running around and scrambling, not like staggering around, looking dazed and confused.
Yes. Should they air condition the shelters?
A little remote.
Should they put like a little bit like a little mist thing, like when you're in Vegas, that you like walk through?
You want enough so that people like are suffering, but like not so much that they're like dazed and can't string together 2 sentences.
Mm-hmm.
And they need, the Flint, like just doesn't, it sucks. It has to suck so bad to be out there with no Flint and be freezing, but it's not like, it doesn't make my experience of watching the show richer.
Wait, who's freezing? We're freezing now? I thought it was the hottest it's ever been.
Well, but at night it gets really cold.
What? It's both?
Yeah, it's hot and cold.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, so that's
all right. I want to talk about something that maybe is also controversial. Can we talk about the chickens?
Chickens.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like let's retire the chickens because it's now we've reached a point where the survivors that the chickens were described as it's not a reward, it's chores that we have to do. And if people are not even appreciating the chickens, this is, I revised what I said about the reward last week. When Sophie complained about the fruit, Jeff should have thrown it on the floor. Okay. You're going to complain about the fruit? Like that is fine. I'll put that in my trailer. I'll take it.
Yeah.
When we are at the point where we're complaining about the chickens, like the survivors shouldn't get the chickens anymore. And look, let me give kudos to Stephen and Alex for being the people who have to kill the chickens. But I think that for 25 years, we had people on the show that it was like that you got a chicken, and every tribe, had a JT, had a James Clement, had a Jane Bright. There was always like some country person who was like, "Hey, give me that chicken. I'm just gonna." I felt bad tonight. We had to watch these 2 guys. They look like they had to like commit a murder.
Yeah. Although to be fair, like that's actually a little more interesting than seeing the country person do it. Like, oh yeah, of course I can kill chickens all the time. Seeing people who have never killed chickens have to kill a chicken. I mean, but I don't want that type of interesting, and like the fact, and we've talked about this in the past about chickens. It was one thing to have the chickens as a consistent reward and be like, this is part of the show. We've got chickens. To retire the chickens because it's inhumane and then be like, you know what? Screw it. Let's bring them back. Like that to me is like much worse. Once you've like taken the chickens out because it's cruel to the chickens, I don't think you can bring them back.
I don't think they took out the chickens because that Sia didn't like that they threw them off the boat.
Oh, so it was just the boat throwing?
That was the part that she complained about. Yeah, like and so I think that there was always like a struggle over that I don't want to kill the chickens. It's cruel to kill the chickens. That
Kimmy.
we have gotten to the point where the survivors are like, that's a lot of work to kill the chicken. I don't want to have to like. Nobody is like, I want to like the chicken to live because it's my pet. Nobody is saying that. Everyone's like, yeah, I could go for some chicken. Yeah, I'm hungry, but I don't want to be the one to kill the chicken. So
this is not the mukbang you signed up for.
It's not the mukbang. It was, and I don't want to single out those guys either because I think if the chickens went to the other tribe, I think it would have been the same thing. I think that you would have seen like Riz God and Joanna. Like I don't want to kill the chicken.
Yeah.
Like don't forget in season 47 they gave the chickens back.
I did forget.
I'm surprised that we didn't see them try to trade the chickens back for eggs.
Is there any like country person on this season?
No.
Wow. Yeah. That's crazy. That's because that was such a staple of the show. How has that happened? Annie, maybe she kind of has that like vibe, kind of country. She's from Austin.
I wouldn't be surprised to know if Annie has chickens.
Yeah.
And these people have, but sometimes these people just have chickens just to get the eggs. They're not killing those chickens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, how many JTs have we seen in the new era?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like when was the last real country person? Probably someone last season that I'm just like not thinking of. Yeah, well, let us know.
There was Kyle, but I mean, I don't know if he was like necessarily like a farmer.
Yeah. Looking at these, not a lot of. Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
We need more country.
Put that on the list.
Yeah,
of things that we need. Okay. What about Shannon's 222 plan? Do you think was there anything real there?
What is? I mean, it's not a bad plan, right? Like, because she wasn't proposing like, hey, that's our new voting alliance. That's like, we'll create little groups that will look out for each other. You know, the two blues, that's pretty straightforward who those are. Obviously, I think for the two yellows, she's thinking of MC and Steven. And then I imagine
Christina didn't get
oh no, she liked Christina. We saw that she said she wanted to do something with Christina and Steven. So
who was the two from the yellow?
My get from I think you're probably right that for it's Christina and Steven, because she did say she had something last week saying that, or maybe it was Christina had something saying she wanted to see Steven and Shannon. But anyway, someone said something about those three.
That she was particularly close with MC Shannon.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking of MC and Steven as a pair.
Yeah, and then who was the other red? Was it Sage or was it
my guess is it's Savannah. That she was thinking of her number one over on the other group is probably Savannah, right? So, anyway, I mean, it's not a bad idea of like creating a group that's going to all look out for each other.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, I always liked when Q came up with his idea, which was the Six. I think I don't know. It was like
the Six is like one of the iconic tribes, because at no point was the Six ever alive.
I don't remember if there was it was like the Power Six or something like that, but it was basically like, okay, it was going to be him and Tiffany, and then it was going to be Hunter and Tevin, and then Maria and Tim, and then Tim wasn't in enough with the Six, and then it was Charlie ended up being the new person. Maria got to bring a new person into the Six, and so but I always thought that was like, that could have worked if everybody in it wasn't like, this isn't real.
Yeah.
Like, if you could get the people in the Six to believe in the Six, like, that could be a good idea.
Yeah, and then that was like just the force of Q's personality. Like, you need, like, I do love the whole thing where we get Shannon being like, I got him. The strategy is the love language on Survivor, and I was sweet talking Steven all night, and then Steven's like, I was not a fan. I did not believe, and that's been a lot. That's been like a kind of go-to tactic this season. We had it with Jason and Juwan. We certainly had it last week with Matt and Juwan with the coordinate. What was it?
It was the section.
Section. Yes, section.
Yeah. But I
Survivor
thought that Shannon was onto something with that, because I do feel like that everybody is very, especially in these like new era seasons, everybody's very kumbaya. Everybody's very like, hey, we love everybody. Everybody's great. Everybody's valid. Everybody is wonderful. And then when somebody like opens up that strategy floodgate, I do feel like, oh my God, I can... we could talk about who we want to go home.
Yeah. Finally.
You're engaging finally.
Yeah.
So do you think it worked on Alex?
I think it worked on Alex. I think Alex was into it until Steven
he
it.
Totally.
Oh, you're saying, I'm sorry.
I do think it worked on Alex.
Yeah.
So, so I do think that Shannon like was cooking a little bit, but too much, burnt the food.
Yeah, you gotta. I mean, that's a good lesson, right? It's a good. You don't want to oversell your strategy. You got to be subtle, and but the challenge is, some other season you've got like a montage of like, this person's going to everyone, and look how they're like working the room. Look how great they're doing over here. I mean, I think we had that with Caleb. I mean, to be fair, he was clocked by possibly Drew, but like we had that scene where like Caleb's like charming everybody, and this guy so. Although he then immediately got voted out because of that. Kyle on 47 was country.
Yeah, that's what I said. Kyle.
Oh, you did say. You said Kyle. I thought you were talking about
lawyer Kyle was the country.
I was like, well, that's I don't see it myself, but maybe you're deeper on these things. I don't really know. Yeah.
That was the Kyle that you're mentioning is indeed the Kyle I was referring to.
Yeah.
He keeps it $1.50. Yeah. Okay. All right. Stephen, before we get to the Fishy Award, of course, how about another accolade for the novel Escape?
Thank you so much. So this is from Benjamin Percy. Stephen Fishbach channels his experience as a reality television star into this hilarious, biting, insightful, and ultimately heartfelt novel. Thank you, Benjamin Percy. Benjamin, so let me tell you about Benjamin Percy. Like, this is literally the guy for me who wrote the book on how to write the book I was trying to write. He wrote this craft book called Thrill Me, and it's all about different examples of both literary fiction and genre fiction, and kind of like ways to evoke, effects as you're writing. I have so many quotes from this book thrill me on my wall. He's also an incredible novelist, short story writer. He writes comic books. And so like, once again, to get his praise was just like so insanely validating. This also was the first blurb I got, and it was like the blurb I had dreamed of. So I mean, it was truly like such a crazy honor to get this. Also on Escape News, I will be tomorrow night at 7 on Talk Shop Live. I will be chatting live about the book and about Survivor. Hopefully, I assume people are going to come and chat about Survivor as much as the book. So Talk Shop Live, there will be a link in the show notes. It'll also be an Instagram Live and a Facebook Live, so you can chat from any of those platforms.
A lot of people are listening to the podcast version of this, so this is going to be on Thursday night. You're doing this. Hold on, hold on. We've lost Steven's audio, unfortunately, at this very important moment.
I was trying to make a cliffhanger. Yeah.
Yes.
Thursday night.
Was that in Thrill Me?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This was a sudden chapter break, and now we're changing perspective. Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. In the YouTube show notes, there'll be a link to Talk Shop Live, but it also will be broadcast on Facebook and Instagram. So, again, chatting book, chatting Survivor, whatever, let's just chat. Whatever else. What are other things I talk about? I think those are the big two.
Okay. All right. Yeah. You teased it before, but let's talk about it. If you don't get it, don't get pissy. I like that part of the song. We haven't had anybody from Survivor 49 get pissy where they feel like, hey, I mean, first off, that would be quite a move if anybody so far from this season was like, hey.
Sophie B complains every time she doesn't get one. Last week,
how about she's gotten what, like 3, 4?
Gotten 2, and last week she complained that she didn't get one because she'd had 2 already. So let's share the wealth a little bit. Yeah. Okay. I don't want my torch snuffed.
Yes. Good job. All right. So let's talk about it, Stephen. All right. You started with Jawan. You want to make anything else to make the case for Jawan?
No, I think Jawan, as we discussed, Jawan. Let me do that again. My brain just stopped there. I must having a Savannah moment. As we discussed, Jawan, first of all, fixes the rock draw so that Nate ends up going on the journey so that Jason does not have a chance to get an advantage, which, let's be honest, he probably would have gotten, Jason probably would have gotten that advantage had he been on that journey.
You think so? Okay, so that would have been an interesting pairing. Now I'm a little mad at Jawan because I kind of feel like the 2 alternates, somehow like funny meeting you here. And then that I think that would have been, especially to have the 2 old Hinas come back together. Again, Jawan did great. Nate did great. But I'm just saying for us that would have been a very interesting thing where if MC loses her vote, like, who cares? Right. Jawan or Jason's like, I need this tonight. Like, I need, like, even if it's like, hey, you know what? MC, we're in this alternate thing together, but really, sorry, screw you. I got to go find the advantage.
Well, I mean, as a puzzle solver, I think he's probably really got like visually astute, and my guess is that he's going to find it pretty fast. So
I think that might be a little bit of a leap. That if you're good at the puzzles, you're good at, you can find the idol.
I think it shows like you're like ways of. I'm terrible at puzzles, and I'm terrible at looking for idols.
So then, by proxy, is one who's good at finding the idol necessarily good at puzzles? Is Russell Hantz?
I don't know. I mean, but it's just like it's like they're visual, right? Like you're trying to like find something small, in a big terrain.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
I think it's a different skill set. I think that, like Russell had like that like bloodhound gene of that he could just like
but
find a needle in a haystack.
You're right that there's a world where like MC and Jason work together to get him the advantage because he needs it so badly. And then she gets her vote back, so I think this could have been the move of the episode, Jawan feeding Nate the rock so that Jason doesn't go. Then we see Jawan legitimately engaging Jason in the decoy plan so that Jason doesn't play his shot in the dark. We also see Savannah doing that same thing, but from what we saw, Jason goes along with the plan that Jawan had him.
And to expand on that also, that for Jawan, that he is the one that really could have gotten hosed if Jason plays his shot in the dark. It's not just that he was like taking one for the team and like really selling the plan for Uli. He also, that behooves him, because if Jason hits the shot in the dark, guess who's going home? It's Jawan.
Yeah. Interesting that they were so certain that Jason was voting for Rizzo that they did not cast a vote for Jawan, that there was no kind of, extra vote there. They chose to not split their votes.
Yeah. So all around, really good episode for Jawan. And then he had a nice moment at Tribal Council where I think that Jawan has been such a fun character in this season and such a three-dimensional character in this season, where you see him having fun and laughing and like can be like really up, but then also that he has had a lot of self-doubt. And in a very public moment at Tribal Council, he talked about the self-doubt that he has.
Yeah, he says that he, doesn't trust his own ability to answer in this pithy way because he hears all these other people answering so thoughtfully. And then Rizzo gives this answer and Jeff says, yeah, you were right to doubt yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was very funny.
I mean, this is the same guy that the producers of the show had enough faith on. He gives the opening monologue of talking about how Survivor is like the first act of the horror movie, but also it has the self-doubt that he's not a good communicator.
Yeah, and self-awareness to say, I know, why there is this, I know where this is coming from. Like I had this moment with the fire, hopefully, which by the way, was a real problem for him. Like that like being self-aware is one of the signature Survivor skills. And he's right? Like that moment with the fire was something that alienated him from Savannah.
Yeah. So, okay, that's the case for Jawan. Is there a case for Sage?
Yeah, you can say that. I mean, especially with that moment where she brings out the receipts for Rizzo's idol, Sage sits back, she lets Shannon do her thing, but then as soon as she hears from others that Shannon is, that they're seeing through Shannon, she does come out and say like, hey, like I've got this piece of information that shows I'm much more loyal to you than she is.
Mm-hmm.
The downside for Sage is I don't think she kind of let the game come to her. She wasn't out there making that case. She, if Stephen had not gone around and said like, hey, I don't really trust Shannon, is Sage ever coming forth with this information? And also she just happened to overhear that conversation between Stephen and Alex. So I think that she didn't really like push it. When the opportunity off to her, she took advantage of that, and that's great. And it worked out really well for her.
Is there a world where this backfires on Sage, where if we do have some kind of tribe shuffle now, okay, and now we have where say like Alex and Sophie B are back together, and now Alex spills the beans that, hey, oh yeah, Sage really hates her old tribe. She really hates Shannon. I really feel like that the shark move for Uli could be take out Sage at the first vote.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like which of the Ulis is actually the most likely to flip, it's definitely Sage because she's basically already flipped.
Yeah, and so don't worry about Jawan. I think that really if Uli took out Sage, I think that could be sort of like a Boston Rob's Ometepe taking out like Matt Elrod at the merge, where it's also like it makes their threat level lower. It's not like that there's 6 original Uli people. They took out one of their own who nobody was necessarily like, oh, Sage is my person. And I think that could be like a really good move for them to get the merge started.
Yeah, that would be a great move. And I
would not like to see it because I love Sage.
Yeah. The other person would be Savannah. I mean, Savannah also engages Jason in kind of this whole other thing where she tells him like, you're the bridge to the old Hina tribe and you need to go, sell that and make sure, because and then it seemed like Savannah really was considering who to keep. And
no fishing for Savannah. She thought too long about getting rid of Jawan.
Yeah.
This was an easy decision. Yeah. This was an easy decision.
This was an easy decision. And it did seem like that was, so I think it's fishy for Jawan pretty clearly.
Yeah, and Nate even seemed to like it that I'm letting Savannah like feel like she's making the call on this.
Yeah, I mean it does seem like Nate is more in the visible leadership position in a way that's probably not great for Nate. Like Savannah seems to be the one who everybody checks in with, but Nate kind of has that figurehead spot.
Well, it seemed like that he felt like, okay, good. I'm pushing some of this off to Savannah.
Right. Yeah. But I saw her being like, yeah, Nate, I'm making these calls. I mean, she said this was basically the same thing. I'm making these decisions, but Nate's the one who's like, leading the charge.
Yeah. Okay. So that's interesting to see who of those two, Nate or Savannah, is going to be seen as the bigger figurehead once we get to whatever comes next.
Yeah. But for now, Jawan, fishy for Jawan.
Congratulations to Jawan. A hard-fought fishy.
Yeah, truly.
An unconventional fishy.
Yeah. But nobody did a lot. I mean, like, The Rock alone would have deserved it.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else from this episode? I thought we got a lot.
Yeah, once again, longer know-it-alls than the actual episation runtime. And let's see, anything else?
Not quite.
Well, I mean, in terms of the absolute, minutes, no, it's pretty close. I really love the way that Stephen and MC approached Christina. I thought they did that really, really elegantly. Those were
any Pokemon you want to highlight? You have a favorite Pokemon you want to shout out?
No, that was they really nailed that.
One more thing about nickel for every time we had a scene in New Era Survivor where survivors were talking about what's your favorite Pokemon.
Yeah, it actually seems like one of the things you should do if you are a nerd inclined Survivor player is brush up on your Pokemon, because it really is like.
Although it has not worked for anybody who has tried to bond over Pokemon.
Yeah, that's true. That's what we had Brando with Drew, and that sort of didn't work. I don't know anything about Pokemon. It's really like a blank spot for me. One last thing. I mentioned Ben Percy, the writer who gave me that lovely blurb. He has the deepest, scariest voice of any, like a really growly voice. And he has this recording of Goodnight Moon, which is the scariest version of Goodnight Moon you will ever hear. So look up Ben Percy Goodnight Moon. I'll tweet out the link, but it's really quite something.
It's spooky season.
It's spooky season, and Goodnight Moon has never been more terrifying.
Yes. Will you be donning a Halloween costume this year?
Oh yeah. I mean, of course. I'm I've got 2 children, so they are going as Paw Patrol. They will be Marshall and Sky.
Oh, okay.
My wife Julia will be Ryder, and I will be the Cookie Monster.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I wanted to go my own way. Last year I did the whole, I was part of the Paw Patrol, but I was like, no, what? We need to have some Cookie Monster.
Well, Paw Patrol gets back-to-back years.
Yeah. We haven't exposed my daughter to a lot of TV shows, so her imaginative landscape is quite limited. She's got Paw Patrol, and that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. Let's talk about what's coming up. We've got here on RHAP. We're just 2 weeks away from when I will be back on the road in San Francisco, and we have got a huge show lined up for you on November 5th. It is about to surpass some RHAP ticket records. If you want to be there with us for a record-setting event, go to robhasawebsite.com/events for that. And then I will be live on Friday with the patrons, taking questions and answering them at 3 p.m. Eastern for the patrons of RHAP. And then over the weekend, I will be recording Club Conda. We'll have it up for you on Monday. Chappelle and I will talk about all of the nonsense going on in the Survivor universe in our patron feed. Go to robhasawebsite.com/patron for that and check out everything else going on in the Survivor feed. We know Survivor.com. Also, Stephen, I will be talking about The Amazing Race. Once again, the Big Brother edition, Thursday night. I'll be live with Mike and Jess at 7 p.m. for that. And then our friends to the north, your traders, Stephen, the Canadian traders.
Yes. Me.
Yes.
I know.
We had a great premiere of Traders Canada where sometimes fill-in know-it-all, Omer.
I'm so excited to watch it. I haven't had a chance to watch this because it just premiered yesterday, but I am truly so excited to watch
Our
this.
friend Kevin Jacobs, Venus Papa are all there for the Traders Canada 3 kicked off. And of course, our patrons have been watching all of the episodes, and Puya and Scally have a recap of episode number 1. We dropped it in the main feed as well. And then also they'll have exit interviews all season long. And they also did some preseason previews with Kevin and with Omer. I think that maybe also with Venus. So It's lots of fun stuff, and we get a lot of great access from Traders Canada.
That's really exciting.
Yes. Okay. Stephen, will you appear on Traders Canada now that you've gotten your Canadian
if they ask
citizenship?
Me, I said to Omer, this is why I'm becoming a citizen, so that I don't think I'm going to get the Traders US call. So Traders Canada, I'm available.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, fun times getting together once again. Oh, who knows what next week holds for us?
Yeah, it could be a merge, could be a swap, could be something else.
Okay. We'll see. Anything else for you, Stephen?
No, I'm on, my book. That's it. My book and Survivor. That's it. And my family. It's, that's my life.
All right. Thank you all so much for joining us for the Survivor Know-It-Alls. We'll be back with a busy Survivor Thursday. Take care. Have a good one. Bye. This is RHAP. We know reality TV.